In the tumultuous pages of history, few epochs evoke as much fascination and dread as the era of Adolf Hitler. Born from the ashes of post-World War I Germany, his ascent from obscurity to absolute power is a tale of ambition, propaganda, and societal upheaval. Once in control, Hitler's reign unfolded with chilling precision, marked by draconian policies, fervent nationalism, and the horrors of the Holocaust. Yet, like a tragic symphony, his era also saw the defiance of brave souls and the eventual collapse of his tyrannical regime. Join us as we delve into this gripping saga, a story of rise, reign, and ultimate ruin. Adolf Hitler, born on April 20, 1889 in Braunau am Inn, Austria-Hungary, was the leader of the Nationalist Socialist German Workers' Party, commonly known as the Nazi Party. He rose to power in Germany during a tumultuous period in the country's history and went on to become one of the most infamous figures of the 20th century. Hitler's early life was marked by struggles and ambitions. After the death of his father, he moved to Vienna in 1907 to pursue his dream of becoming an artist. However, he faced rejection from art schools and struggled financially, leading him to become increasingly interested in politics. In 1913, Hitler moved to Munich, Germany, to avoid military service in the Austro-Hungarian army. When World War I broke out in 1914, he volunteered for the German army and served as a soldier on the Western Front. His experiences during the war, combined with his nationalist and anti-Semitic beliefs, would shape his political ideology. After Germany's defeat in World War I, Hitler remained in the army and was assigned to infiltrate political groups deemed subversive by the government. It was during this time that he became involved with the German Workers' Party, which later transformed into the Nazi Party. In 1921, Hitler became the leader of the party and began to develop his vision of a racially pure and militaristic Germany. Hitler's rise to power was facilitated by a combination of factors, including economic turmoil, political instability, and widespread dissatisfaction with the Weimar Republic. The Great Depression, which began with the Wall Street crash of 1929, hit Germany particularly hard, leading to skyrocketing unemployment and economic hardship. Many Germans lost faith in the existing political establishment and turned to extremist parties like the Nazis for solutions. The Nazis capitalized on this discontent by exploiting nationalist sentiments, blaming Germany's problems on scapegoats such as Jews, communists, and other minorities. Hitler's powerful oratory skills and the effective use of propaganda, spearheaded by figures like Joseph Goebbels, helped to disseminate Nazi ideology and garner support for the party. In the early 1930s, the Nazi Party began to gain electoral success, winning seats in the Reichstag, German parliament, and steadily increasing its influence. In the July 1932 elections, the Nazis emerged as the largest party, although they did not secure an outright majority. Despite this, Hitler demanded to be appointed chancellor, but President Paul von Hindenburg initially resisted. However, political maneuvering and backroom deals eventually led Hitler to being appointed chancellor on January 30, 1933. Once in power, Hitler wasted no time in consolidating his control over the government and suppressing opposition. The Reichstag fire in February of 1933 provided a pretext for the Nazis to crack down on political dissent, leading to the passage of the Reichstag Fire Decree, which suspended civil liberties and paved the way for authoritarian rule. Hitler further cemented his authority with the passage of the Enabling Act in March 1933, which gave his government sweeping powers to enact laws without parliamentary approval. With the death of President Hindenburg in August 1934, Hitler merged the positions of Chancellor and President, assuming the title of Führer und Reichskanzler, leader and chancellor. As Führer, Hitler wielded absolute power over Germany, implementing radical policies aimed at reshaping society along Nazi lines. These policies included the persecution of Jews, suppression of political opposition, expansion of the military, and aggressive foreign policy, which ultimately led to the outbreak of World War II in 1939. Hitler's reign of terror resulted in the deaths of millions of people, including 6 million Jews in the Holocaust. His brutal dictatorship brought untold suffering to Germany and the world, leaving a devastating legacy that continues to be remembered and studied today. The fall of Adolf Hitler and the collapse of the Third Reich marked the end of one of the darkest chapters in human history. Hitler's reign of terror, characterized by his fanatical pursuit of a racist and expansionist agenda, culminated in Germany's defeat and his own demise. By early 1945, it was evident that the war was turning against Germany. Allied forces were advancing on all fronts, and Hitler's once mighty empire was crumbling. The Allied capture of key strategic locations, such as the Ludendorff Bridge, and the failure of German offensives like Operation Spring Awakening in Hungary, further weakened Hitler's resolve. Facing imminent defeat, Hitler made a series of desperate decisions that sealed his own fate and that of his nation. The Nero Decree, issued on March 19, 1945, ordered the destruction of Germany's infrastructure, reflecting Hitler's willingness to sacrifice everything rather than admit defeat. This decree exemplified Hitler's destructive mindset and his willingness to inflict untold suffering on his own people. However, even with his inner circle, there were dissenting voices. Albert Speer, Hitler's Minister of Armaments, managed to convince Hitler to delegate authority to him to implement the decree, effectively undermining its full execution. This marked a significant moment of insubordination against Hitler's authority, indicating the erosion of his power in the final days of the regime. As Allied forces closed in on Berlin, Hitler chose to remain in his bunker, refusing to flee and facing the inevitable downfall of his regime. His last days were marked by a sense of delusion and despair as he refused to accept reality and clung to his delusions of grandeur. On April 30, 1945, Hitler committed suicide in his bunker, along with his wife, Eva Braun. His death marked the end of the Nazi regime, but not before causing immense devastation and suffering across Europe. Conspiracy theories surrounding Adolf Hitler's death emerged shortly after the end of World War II and have persisted to this day, despite overwhelming evidence that he died by suicide in the Führer bunker in Berlin on April 30, 1945. These theories suggest that Hitler did not die in the bunker, but instead managed to escape, with various claims about his whereabouts and activities after the war. One of the most popular conspiracy theories is that Hitler and his wife, Eva Braun, escaped to Argentina after the fall of the Third Reich. This theory gained traction with claims from individuals like Philipp Citroën, a self-proclaimed former German SS trooper, who allegedly reported sightings of Hitler in South America. Books like Grey Wolf, The Escape of Adolf Hitler, by Simon Dunstan and Jared Williams have promoted this theory, suggesting that Hitler lived in Argentina until his death in 1962. Some conspiracy theories suggest that the idea of Hitler's escape was propagated by the Soviet Union as a form of disinformation during the immediate post-war period. Marshal Georgy Zhukov, on orders from Joseph Stalin, initially presented the idea to the public, leading to widespread speculation about Hitler's fate. Alongside the theory of escaping to Argentina, there are claims that Hitler lived in other South American countries, such as Brazil or Colombia, under assumed identities. These theories often cite alleged sightings and reports of Nazi sympathizers in these regions, providing support to fugitive Nazis. Another variation of the escape theory suggests that Hitler fled Germany via submarine, possibly to a remote location such as Antarctica or a secret Nazi base, where he could have continued to evade capture. The FBI and CIA investigated numerous reports and sightings of Hitler after the war, although they ultimately concluded that there was no credible evidence to support the theory of his survival. Declassified documents reveal various alleged sightings, but none could be verified. In the aftermath of Hitler's demise, Germany lay in ruins, its cities reduced to rubble, and its people facing an uncertain future. The Nuremberg trials, held to prosecute Nazi war criminals, sought to bring justice to those responsible for the atrocities committed during the war. The era of Adolf Hitler stands as a haunting reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked power, radical ideology, and human cruelty. In the aftermath of World War II, how do you think the legacy of Adolf Hitler continues to shape our understanding of history and influence contemporary society? What lessons can we learn from this dark chapter in human history to prevent similar atrocities from happening in the future? Tell us in the comments below. Also, what topics would you like to see next? Drop your suggestions below. And that was all from us. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Regal Odyssey, and give this video a big thumbs up. We'll see you guys in the next one.